Literature-Based Thematic Unit by Lisa McGinnis, EDU 351. This unit of study is called Understanding the Importance of Rules. This unit is designed for a first grade class and will cover the English language, arts, social studies, and technology. This will be standards for 2 lessons. The standards that will be covered are North Carolina Essential Standards. Subject content will be social studies under civics and government. We will be covering Essential Standards 1 C&G 1.1, explain why rules are needed in the home, school, and community. 1.2, classify the roles of authority figures in the home, school, and community. And 1.3, summarize various ways in which conflicts could be resolved in home, schools, and community. We'll also cover the U.S. Common Core standards of English language, arts and literacy, and history, social studies, science, and technology. Content area will be for reading, writing, language, and technology. Essential questions that will be covered are why our rules are important in our homes, schools, and communities. What are some places we need to have rules and why? What are consequences? Who are the authority figures and what are their roles in our homes, schools, and communities? And how can we resolve conflicts in various parts of our lives? Learning targets of the standards will be for social studies, ELA, writing, and technology. Lesson 1, Day 1. Students should be placed in 4 groups and given a paperclip and a pencil, but no instructions on what to do. Allow the students time to sit with their paper and pencils in their group and figure out what they need to be doing. Once students have not confirmed any instructions or what they need to proceed with, have the students come back together. Explain the lesson on understanding the importance of rules and discuss the concept of our rules, why and where we have them. Introduce vocabulary terms: authority, rules, consequences, conflict, respect, and fairness. Introduce the book, David Goes to School. Allow the students to identify book and print awareness by pointing out the author, illustrator, title page, and where to begin reading and where to end reading. Now allow the students to make predictions about what's going to happen in the book. Read and then discuss why David got in trouble. What other choices could he have made? Break back up into your groups again and give them their paperclip and pencil to make a spinner on top of the table. Instruct the students to take turns spinning the paperclip with the pencil point on the table, and whoever the paperclip points to, they need to give an example of a rule David has broken in school and what he could have done differently. After they play the game for a few minutes, come back together as a group and discuss the importance of rules at school. Have the students do a turn and talk and discuss some rules that we need to have at school. Allow the students to share and agree upon rules that need to be observed in our classroom. Write the rules on a poster board in colored marker. Review the rules and post them on an anchor chart for everyone to see. Their ticket to exit will be to write one of the classroom rules that they helped develop on a slip of paper before they leave. Review the classroom rules and the school expectations. Introduce the book, Officer Buckle and Gloria. Have the students use their headphones and listen to the read aloud of Officer Buckle and Gloria on their iPads. Once they've completed this, come together and identify and discuss who authority figures are and the roles that they play in our home, school, and community. Use caustics to have the students share one rule that they have at home. Next, begin with one student and ask them one rule or law that they can tell us about in our community. Popcorn to the next person and allow students to share their information about rules in our community, or otherwise known as laws. Go over the importance of these rules and laws that need to be observed in our community and why. Discuss the meaning of consequences and allow the students to do a turn and talk about consequences that we should have connected to our classroom rules. Using a separate poster board and colored markers, ask the students to identify and agree on consequences to the classroom rules that they helped establish the day before. End the day with a fun read aloud of the Bernstein Bears, The Bike Lesson. This is a great book that identifies consequences when Papa Bear breaks rules of riding a bike. Day 3. Review classroom rules and consequences that the students have set and agreed upon. Introduce conflict and conflict resolution. Hand students a half sheet of paper and have them cut out a large circle. Instruct them to color one side of the circle red and the other side green. Explain to the students that in our community we have traffic laws. A red traffic light means we stop. A green traffic light means that you can go. And explain that these circles represent a go light and a stop light. Have the students practice modeling appropriate speaking and listening skills to reinforce our rules. Model for them a stoplight behavior and have the students hold up their red circle to indicate a stop to the behavior that is inappropriate. Model the go light behaviors and have them hold up their green circle if the behavior is a good behavior and you can continue with that. Use call sticks to have pairs of students come up and demonstrate a go light and a stoplight behavior. Shadow read Rules at School from Unit 1, Treasures Reading Language Arts program. Allow the students to use their text features to describe what helps them to understand. Teacher think aloud to the students about what is happening when all of the students are playing together on the playground. Allow them to respond and prompt them to realize that there's not one person left out. They're all playing fairly. Have them make a connection to a time when they were left out and how it made them feel. Define conflict and give examples of conflicts. Have two students come up and role play a conflict that takes place on their playground. Allow the students to discuss ways that the conflict could be resolved and instruct students on a way that they could have avoided a conflict. Review the vocabulary terms, authority, rules, consequences. Speak about each of those as you are reviewing them. Now review and add in conflict, respect, and fairness, and speak about those once again after that has been modeled of ways that they should treat others. Have the students to write an acrostic poem using one of the vocabulary words, making statements about rules that we should follow. Now watch Kids President's Pep Talk to Teachers and Students. This video speaks about respecting each other and how to avoid conflict. As a ticket to exit today, have the students say something kind to at least two students that do not sit at their work tables. Day 4. Review the classroom rules and consequences. Read aloud, what if everybody did that? Discuss the importance of respect and responsibility. Describe some examples of what if everybody did that. Identify the examples that could happen in our class, our school, or our home, or even in our community. Have the students complete the sentence starter worksheet, what if everybody? Allow the students to share one example with their class. Discuss the ideas that it may seem like a small thing when a person makes a poor choice, but how it affects everyone else. Students will now create a short video using their iPads in groups of 3, role-playing a rule that is broken or resolving a conflict. They will advise of the consequence and describe what would have been a better choice to have prevented the stoplight behavior. Have the students display their red and green cards to demonstrate the desirable or undesirable behaviors. The entire class will watch the video on the smartboard and vote on a video to be shown each morning for a week on our morning news for the school. I have designed guided level reading groups around our thematic unit of understanding the importance of rules. Each group, A, B, and C, will have their own leveled activities and read alouds that they should complete during our daily lessons. Lesson 2, Day 1. Introduce the lesson by reading a short story called The Kingdom with No Rules, No Laws, and No King by Norman Stiles. Have the students describe why rules are important after hearing this short story, and let them give examples of what may happen at school without any rules. Explain the importance of rules at home, school, and community, and introduce the vocabulary terms: authority, rules, consequences, conflict, respect, and fairness. Have the students write these words in their word journal and use them in a sentence. Divide the class back into their 4 groups and have them complete a chalk talk with large graph paper to identify rules that we need in our classroom. Come back together and display the large graph paper in front of the class. Have the class discuss and agree on at least 5 rules they identified to be used in our classroom. Write these rules in colored marker on an anchor chart with an I can sentence that goes along with the rule, and display this for the students to see. Students will choose 2 of our rules and illustrate that rule in action. They will write at least 4 sentences about those rules that they chose. Introduce consequences and why we need them. Now read aloud how a dinosaur goes to school. As a ticket to exit, have the students write 3 of the vocabulary terms on a slip of paper from memory. 2. Remind the students of the classroom rules they identified the day before. Point out that they're displayed as a reminder to the class. Have the students recall the information about consequences. Divide the class back into their groups. Give each group index cards with consequences listed and index cards with classroom rules listed. Have them pair up the consequences that are appropriate to the rules. Once the matchup is complete, write a list of consequences on another anchor poster and display that alongside the rules. Next, review the roles of authorities in our home, schools, and communities. Have the students turn and talk about who the authority figures are in each of these places. Use the Smartboard unit and call sticks to have students come up and divide the rules into the columns of home, school, community, or all 3. Some of these rules will fit into more than one category. Next, instruct the students to draw a Venn diagram and label it. They may use the Smartboard activity for help. As a brain break to the lesson, let the students have fun with a game of Simon Says. Begin to give them Simon Says commands and eliminate players as they forget to obey Simon. Day 3. Remind the students of the rules and consequences that they have identified for our classroom. Now introduce the term conflict and how it can be resolved. Watch your Discovery Education video, Got a Problem? Students may watch this on their iPads with their headsets. Explain that through communication and cooperation, conflicts can be avoided and resolutions can be found. Use call sticks to have the students come up and role play what conflicts may look like in various areas of their home, school, and communities. Complete the ReadWorks passage, Why Do We Need Rules, on your iPads according to their reading levels. Complete the lesson with a foldable graphic organizer. Students will fold a 9 by 11 blank sheet of paper in half lengthwise. They will make 2 cuts on the top only to the fold line. Label one of each of the 3 top parts, home, school, and then community. Unfold each labeled section one at a time. On the top portion of the fold, they'll write the rules that go with the words home. The second portion would be school, and the third portion would be community. On the bottom portion of the fold, they'll write the consequences that apply when the rules of each of those places are broken. Close this lesson with the read aloud of Chrysanthemum by David Hinks. For guided level reading, each group will be working on a ReadWorks passage at their reading level and completing questions independently with guidance or having read aloud and guidance. Thank you for watching Understanding the Importance of Rules, a literature-based thematic unit.